well, I'll put it in post-production. And it's an article from the Atlantic.com, and it says, the title is, Medieval Diseases Are Infecting California's Homeless. Now, this lesson was sparked by me getting in the car and getting on the freeway, and right on the side of the freeway, there was an encampment that I wasn't really aware of, or you see on a daily basis, but it has gotten bigger, you know, and it was trash everywhere, you know, tents, you know, this is right out, you know, not too far away from where I live at, you know, these encampments are creeping up on these residential areas, you know, in the cuts and different parks, okay, by streams, by sewage ways under bridges. Man, people are just bugged out, man. Driving, slacking. You know, Satan's always in the midst. On the freeways, especially. So, you know, I just went on the Google, and I typed in homelessness America, you know, and I went to the news section, and there was many different news articles, you know, speaking about, you know, the rise in homeless in America, which is just another indicator that this place called America, Babylon the Great, as it's spoken about in the scriptures, is done, it's finished. You know, it has ran its course, which it's just going to get worse from here, you know. It's just going to get worse for the people of America. All right, jobs are being lost at an all-time record. Okay, these different international companies that are stationed out here in America, they're shipping their product overseas, or they're outright going out of business, and this is leaving the American people without work, without money to pay for, you know, necessities, and they're not able to pay for housing. Okay, you have something called the working homeless, in which you have people that actually have full-time jobs, but they're not able to work in the area, or I'm sorry, they're not able to live in the area that they work in because of rising housing costs. So let me read a little bit of this article. On top of that, you have diseases running rampant in these communities. Now it says medieval diseases are infecting California's homeless. Typhus, tuberculosis, and other illnesses are spreading quickly through camps and shelters. Now these diseases, you would think that these are, you know, dominant in these third world countries. Well, these diseases of uncleanness, okay, are running rampant right here in the United States of America. Okay, the most advanced society, the most society with the greatest upward mobility, you know, colleges and medical care, which a lot of these diseases, well, majority of these diseases are falling upon Edom, because that's the rising homeless. The majority of the rising homeless in America are the Edomites, because they're on drugs. You know, that American dream is not what it used to be, you know. So here's the article. Let me read a little bit of the article. Jennifer Miller keeps trash bags and hand sanitizer near her tent. Here it is, you in America, you living in a tent, man. And she regularly pours water mixed with hydrogen peroxide on the sidewalk nearby, keeping herself in a patch of concrete she calls home. Clean is top priority. But this homeless encampment off a Hollywood freeway ramp is often littered with needles and trash and soap and urine. Rats occasionally scamper through, and Miller fears the consequences. I worry about all those diseases, said Miller, 43, who has been homeless most of her life. Yeah, she can't climb out of homelessness. Where's Esau, you know, getting on his own people for, leeching on society, not being able to, get back into the working class, being a hard worker. Here it is, she's 43 years old and been homeless the majority of her life. Infectious diseases, some that ravage populations in the Middle Ages, okay, during the time where Jake went down, the bubonic and the bubonic plague that wiped out 2/3 of the population. Those same diseases are coming back, with vengeance, are resurging in California and around the country and hitting the homeless population especially hard. Los Angeles recently experienced an outbreak of typhus, a disease spread by infected fleas and on rats and other animals. Yeah, these homeless, these Edomites, they're disgusting creatures. They're going back into their natural state. That's why they're so comfortable, just living off the sides of freeways, on concrete, living in tents. Or it's just as them living in the Caucasus Mountains. Okay, because sidewalk and cement, that's just nothing but modern day, cliffs and rocks. It's modern day rocks. So they have no problem, sleeping on, the floor, where there's rats. They're pissed right there where they stay at, doing drugs, injecting themselves with needles, with opioids, okay, smoking crack, a disease spread by infected fleas on rats and other animals. In downtown streets, officials briefly closed part of City Hall after reporting that rodents had invaded the building. Yeah, you had rodents down there in City Hall with fleas. And actually somebody that worked down in City Hall actually got infected with typhus. All right, here it is. City Hall is supposed to be a place where, things of the city are supposed to be worked out. Budgets and different programs that are supposed to help the city, run, flawlessly. And you have the workers being attacked by fleas that have diseases. People in Washington State have been infected by Shigella bacteria, which is spread through feces and cause the diarrheal disease shigellosis, as well as Bartonella quintana, or trench fever, which spread through body lice. Yeah, these Edomites are disgusting. All right, they don't take baths, they don't take showers, they don't wash up, they don't keep their hygiene clean. Furthermore, they're addicted to drugs. All right, they're shooting up with these dirty needles just to get a high. They'll do anything just to get that high. That's the way they live. Living amongst rodents and rats and creatures. These creatures, they can actually live with these diseases. They're carriers. But once they get into a human being, it starts just ravaging the human being and then spreading. This is what America has come to, people full of infectious diseases. Okay, primarily you Edomites. Okay, you Red Hebrew Edomites, the so-called white man, which years back they had homes. They were able to send their kids to college. You seen Jake out there on the streets, okay, with diseases. Hepatitis A also spread primarily through feces, infecting more than 1,000 people in Southern California in the past 2 years. Yeah, I remember when there was an outbreak down there in San Diego with hepatitis B in the homeless community. Okay, where they had to set up mobile hospitals because, like in driveways, because there was too many people being affected by these diseases. The disease also has erupted in New Mexico, Ohio, and Kentucky. primarily among people who are homeless and use drugs. This seems like an epidemic, or soon to be a pandemic, which you only hear about these diseases in these third world countries like Africa, okay, Southeast Asia, okay, different parts of Eastern Europe. Okay, no, this is in a so-called first world country where there's all type of medical what's it called, capability to cure these things. Okay, public health officials and politicians are using terms like disaster and public health crisis is described the outbreaks, and they are warning that these diseases can easily jump beyond the homeless population. That's right. This can jump into the mainstream population, or the working class, or people that just regular people. It can ravage through preschools. Well, I have a client that their son caught infectious disease, okay, at preschool. So that can ravage through preschools, which that's going to go through the children. It's going to hop on the parents, and then the older children, colleges, and the workforce. Well, just look how many people get sick if there's somebody sick at the workforce. These so-called corporate buildings. They got to quarantine that person. They got to quarantine all the people that get sick. All right, give me a second. So these things are being named as disasters. These outbreaks, crises. I'm gonna continue a little bit more. Our homeless crisis is increasingly becoming a public health crisis, California Governor Gavin Newsom said in his State of the State speech in February, citing outbreaks of hepatitis A in San Diego County, syphilis in Sonoma County, and typhus in Los Angeles County. Typhus, he said, a medieval disease in California in 2019. Yeah. So all these things now are coming back. Not only are they coming back, these things that were once eradicated due to advanced medicine, okay, they're now springing back forth because of uncleanness, hygiene, bad hygiene, drug use. The diseases have flared as a nation's homeless population has grown in the past 2 years. About 553,000 people were homeless at the end of 2018. Here it is. America's supposed to be this land of opportunity and freedom, and you have over 500,000 people homeless, okay, without anywhere to stay. And we know that this population is more, okay, and it's only increasing. And nearly 1/4 of the homeless people live in California. So the mass majority of people that live in California, or the homeless population, they're from California. Which a lot of people, they migrate to California because being homeless in California is a lot easier because of the weather, because of these social programs. The homeless they get taken care of, so to speak. They have a free reign to just be homeless. The diseases spread quickly and widely among people living outside or in shelters, helped along by sidewalk contaminants with human feces. Yeah, out here in San Francisco, which I'm actually driving to San Francisco, you literally have people that be walking down the street and literally pull their pants down and take a shit. Every time we go to camp, we literally have to dodge shit, human shit, on the ground. Crowded living conditions weaken immune systems and limited access to health care. So this is just this place is set up to fall greatly. Okay, everybody's immune system is all messed up. All right, people can die from the common cold because of the foods that they eat. It's messing up their immune system. Okay, the prescription drugs that they take is messing up their immune system. Okay, these antibiotics is destroying their gut flora, their immune system, as well as stress. The living conditions, like right now, I'm in traffic. This is a very stressful commute, and people take this every single day. Their whole life, people are commuting, 1 to 2 hours. You have something called super commuters. You have people that live in their cars that actually have, full-time jobs. They have to go to these gyms just to take a shower maybe once a week, brush their teeth, wash their face, in these public restrooms. So this is just America's. It's really just set up to fall greatly. We can continue reading on the. Let me read a little bit more actually. The hygiene situation is just horrendous for people living on the streets, says Glenn Lopez, a physician with St. John's Well Child and Family Center, who treats homeless patients in Los Angeles County. It's become just like a third world environment where the human feces contaminate the areas where they are eating and sleeping. Those infectious diseases are not limited to homeless populations, Lopez warns. Even someone who believes they are protected from the infection is not. Yeah, this place is hell, man. All right, you can get hepatitis B just walking down the streets. All right, let me bring out a scripture, and then we'll just wrap it up. I'm not going to make this long. It just goes to show you that America is on its way out, and these are part of the curses that the Lord is cursing this place with. Infectious diseases. What do you know? Just as a third world country would be experiencing. Give me a second. So this is 2nd Ezra 15. And let's start at 5. Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. So the Lord, he's ramping up these plagues upon the world. Now these things were in these different undeveloped countries. Now they're in the most developed country on the planet Earth. Okay, America, which nobody would have ever thought in a million years that these things could happen. But see, Babylon is being tricked, or Babylon's being set up for a great fall. We're going to skip around. And let me read another verse. Give me a second while I turn. Where it talks about how the Lord, he's going to plague Egypt again. Give me a second. Yep. Verse 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before. Now, when you read about the Exodus, when the children of Israel were being led out of Exodus, or when Moses was petitioning with Pharaoh to let the children of Israel go, what did the Lord do? He started plaguing Egypt with different plagues, different diseases, different plagues that mess up the agriculture, the infrastructure. So this is basically what's happening with the modern day Egypt, according to Revelation, what is that, 11 and 8. Okay, this is spiritually, that great city is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Okay, so it says, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. So this is basically what's happening. The Lord's actually plaguing this place with plagues. Typhus, okay, hay fever, okay, these so-called medieval diseases, hepatitis A, those are all plagues, okay, pestilences, okay, that can easily be transferred from one person to another. Well, you have a lot of these rats and these dogs that are living on the streets, these cats, you know, these animals, they carry these diseases, these mosquitoes. So what's going to happen when they bite a human? And then that's going to be transferred and passed on. Okay? Let me read this. Egypt shall mourn. Give me a second. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundations of it shall be smitten with the plague, and the punishment of the Most High shall bring upon it. So that ultimate plague is a plague of nuclear missiles, you know. But before that even happens, you know, homelessness is going to increase. And this is just a domino effect, because people are turning to homelessness because there's no jobs. People are overdosing on drugs because of loss of hope in the economy. Okay, people really, Esau is really giving up on these things. He's giving up on life because it's too hard, you know. So this is just a domino effect to the ultimate destruction of Babylon. So until next time, I want to say